So Daniel, recently I've noticed from behind the scenes that it looks like you've kind of shifted the way that you've done planning with clients. The focus now seems to be more about taxes and making sure that taxes don't pass on to another generation. We recently had a case that came to us in a very unique way. Could you tell us that story and why what you did was so important for her legacy?
Well, first off, it did come to us in a very unique way. The client that she's talking about is actually the mother of our oldest daughter's college professor. They were having discussions in class about financial planning, and being a family firm like we are, our daughter was raising her hand or unmuting her mic rather on the laptop and saying, well, actually it works like this. So after class, the professor had reached out to her and said, hey, I would love to talk to you guys, and I would love for my mother to talk to you guys. So Olivia ended up bringing her into the office, and there are a couple of reasons I'm focusing on taxes right now. Number one, the tax laws have changed quite a bit in 2020. There was a major tax change in the way that inherited IRAs are treated. Much more of the money goes back to the federal government when someone inherits an IRA now, and much quicker than anybody had ever imagined that it would under the new changes. And then also because of the response to the virus in 2020, Congress has kind of loosened some rules on those accounts. But also, and probably more on the nose, is the fact that this year they've increased our government debt so much and printed so much money that taxes are going to go up. There's no mathematical way that they won't. It's just a question of when and how much. So we have to focus on taxation right now as a priority, because everybody that comes to us has had their plan designed based off of one tax reality, and we're going to be heading into another. And they've already shown that by the moves they've made this year. So in this particular case, this woman, she was actually married to a gentleman who had a financial planner as a brother. And they set up a plan in 1986, right before he had passed away, that still held water today. Throughout all the changes in the law up until 2020, their plan still worked. It was actually a fantastic plan. The problem is that when they changed the tax law in 2020, now her big IRA that she was planning to pass on to her grandson was going to do two things. It was going to, number one, end up having half of it go back to the federal government within the first 10 years of her death. And number two, it was going to disqualify her grandson from being able to get any student aid to go to college or to grad school. So before we even talked about how the things were invested or anything else, I caught that issue knowing that we're coming towards the end of the year, and if we're going to make moves, we had to make it now. And after meeting with our CPAs and meeting with our attorneys, the three of us and her were able to put together a plan that was able to transfer her IRA to her grandson upon her death with absolutely no taxation whatsoever. And it will not cost him a penny of student aid when he goes to college and grad school. I could not have done that by myself. And to be honest, our attorney and our CPA that worked with us on this case, they would not have been able to do it by themselves either. And that's the true power of having a fully integrated professional network. Each of us are able to do our parts and together accomplish something that none of us could do by ourselves, because we don't have the expertise in the other areas, much less the licenses.